listen to the Lapped Traffic Podcast.
What is up, Lap Traffic Nation? Welcome to episode 215 of the Lap Traffic Podcast. I am your host, the Professor Brandon Crowd. Hope you all had a great Christmas. Hope you all are getting ready to bid 2020 farewell here in just a few days. And we'll get to all that right now. But real quick, I am so excited because joining me in the Lapped Traffic Studios here in Metro Detroit after the plane debacle from hell, just picked him up at the airport. We haven't even been back at the house for an hour yet, making his 19th appearance on the Lapped Traffic Podcast, all the way from the PETM North Studios. It's Andrew Sherwin in the house. What's up, brother?
Hey, man. I got lots of cuss words about that whole plane ride, but I don't think anybody wants to hear that right now.
Oh, man. So Sherwin was supposed to land about, what, 2:50?
2:50.
And we would have been back to the house around 4. It's now 8 o'clock, and we are just getting ready to go. So we're going to have some fun. We got some surprises along the way here. But in honor of the PETM podcast, we're going to start this thing off like they do. Sherwin, what you drinking and what have you been drinking today in the airport?
Well, at the airport, I was drinking Cabernet and Jameson.
Oh, we're getting after it there.
Because why in the hell not, right?
Right.
But I believe your lovely wife, or maybe you, made me a Diet Coke and bourbon, so that's pretty good.
Yes. Excellent. All right, we all know what I have, and that's the sugar-free Red Bull vodka club soda. I've switched up the vodka a smidge. The first few drinks of the night have been Stoli Elite, which is one damn good vodka, let me tell you. And then we'll switch over to the Tito's there after that. But Sherwin, speaking of drinking, you and I both know on Twitter very well. I believe you actually even hung out with him. Gentleman by the name of Evan Roller. Does that name ring a bell to you there, sir?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yes. So he sent me a DM last night. He was trying to send us some moonshine to be able to have while we were doing the show. And with the way USPS is, that wasn't going to work in terms of being able to get it here by today. So Evan was like, can I PayPal you some money so that you and Sherwin can go and get some drinks for you guys? And I'm like, man, I hate taking money from people. I just do. That's just like, I don't like, I go, but if you insist, here's the PayPal. And I figured, I know you and I a couple weeks ago, we got behind doing some donation stuff. And I thought maybe we could take the $100 that Evan sent us and maybe pick 2 charities or something like that and send that through the PayPal there.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea, actually, and I'm sure Evan would appreciate that. So if I get a vote for one of them,
I'll send 50 to 1. You send 50 to 1.
Okay, no problem, and I'll match it. So
I'll do the same. There we go.
It'll be $100, and so for me, it's going to be Jimmy V.
Cool.
Jimmy V is bulletproof in terms of how much of the money that they receive that goes to helping people.
Awesome. Well, I myself will send $100 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I love what they do for kids and giving them a thing there. When they're struggling with not knowing if they're going to wake up the next day. So $100 to Make-A-Wish for me.
Well, 100%. And I mean, we can go to the liquor store and buy whatever bottle we want.
Absolutely.
That doesn't matter. But
nope.
There's a lot of value in doing something for people that maybe you don't even, you'll never touch them, you'll never see them, but just the idea of helping some folks out that need some help.
Absolutely. And Sherwin and I are going to raise our glass. Evan, we're going to cheers you right now. Cheers, brother. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to the PETM posse and Lap Traffic Nation for sure. All right. Had to get the sip in at least. Sherwin, what's old Rusty doing over New Year's?
I have no idea. It is surprising how little we actually talk about what's going on in our personal lives. Outside of when we do the podcast, we just don't.
That's great.
It don't happen. I mean, we know we're both busier than a pup with two Peters. You know, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff going on, and you know, and we just don't really talk about life that much. To be honest with you,
No,
I think that's why we did. You know, started the podcast is it was a way that we knew that we had to talk to each other for at least an hour every week, and because we certainly value the opportunity to spend time with each other, and you know, the podcast is the way to do that, especially in 2020. What is it, March 308th now, or whatever the hell day it is. So it gives us a chance to talk when we don't normally talk that much, because he's not a talker and I kind of not either.
Sure.
You know.
I hear you. All right. So this is I'm pretty excited about this. So, you know, you guys know I've taken the show on the road and done things in person. Rusty and Sherwin have been up to Michigan and in the MIS radio room that they've given me here or there. But Sherwin, you're the first in-person guest in studio.
Are you kidding
in
me?
Metro Detroit, yeah, which is pretty cool. So I'm pretty. The Orange Cone was supposed to come up one day from Ohio and do a thing.
Well, he's an asshole,
and that never worked out. But so yeah, you're the first in-person guest, which I'm pretty excited about. So we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna kind of do a hodgepodge of stuff tonight. We're gonna talk about anything and everything, and of course throw in some NASCAR. And there's even a few surprise guests lined up that Sherwin has no clue. And I'm very gracious because we're obviously delayed here, and I've reached out, and everybody was willing to adjust time, which is pretty cool. So we'll have some surprises thrown in the way. Sherwin, I had no idea what was going to happen when I threw out last night on Twitter, hey, leave Sherwin and I a message on the Wave Around hotline. We got a couple calls to listen to. I'm sure Andrew Cancian is on there, so we'll have some fun with him, I bet, in a little bit. But let's start with this. How was your Christmas? I know you got some Chase Elliott stuff from Mom and Dad, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, well, you know, Mom probably, she finally figured out that I'm actually a race car fan. I mean, they should have figured it out about 10 years ago, but they didn't. But yeah, Mom bought me a Chase Elliott championship shirt, and she bought me a pair of socks, which I will wear at some point during this weekend. It says I'd rather be watching racing, but it's printed on the bottom of the sock, so you have to have your feet
up,
propped up.
Nice,
you know,
nice.
And yeah, so and I got that, and my sister gave me a Georgia Tech pullover, which I have with me in my suitcase.
Excellent.
Dad and I took a picture and posted it on Facebook and every damn where else, because she bought him a Clemson version of that same pullover, because my dad went to Clemson. So
cool, good deal. Well, speaking of your parents, I saw you tweet out your parents have not seen the movie, or they just watched for the first time ever Christmas Vacation. And I think I'm impressed with the fact that movie's been out 31 years, and they went that long without just seeing a glimpse of it on TV. So what did they think of Christmas Vacation? Because everybody knows that's my number one go-to there.
Well, for me, it doesn't get any better. I mean, Die Hard is the only other thing. So you and I are going to have to watch Die Hard.
Yes.
At some point during this process.
We can make that happen.
But my mother cracked up the entire movie.
Excellent.
She was dying.
Excellent.
Every time I laughed, she laughed. And she might have started laughing before I started laughing. My dad, stone-faced.
No. That's not possible.
And I wanted to hit him. I was like, man, you are such an asshole.
Right? Lindsay's in here taking some pictures
Lindsay's in here taking pictures of us being dorks.
Yes.
And, you know, probably because we're being too loud. She's like,
yeah.
You know. But, yeah, no, my dad he didn't even, there was no noise. And I'm like, did you just deliberately decide that this is not going to be funny for you? Because the script suggests that there are at least 2 or 3 points in the movie where you should laugh.
Right.
So if you don't laugh,
right,
you are the asshole.
Right. What did he say?
I didn't say a word.
Oh, you didn't. Oh,
You just, I mean, with my dad, I don't know what it's like with your dad and anybody else that's listening, what it's like with their dads, but it just, you can't tell them nothing. You
No.
can't.
Oh,
You
God,
cannot tell them nothing. You just love them to death. Give them a hug, accept whatever that feedback they give you, and you just move on.
yeah, you got to roll. Yeah, my dad's ADHD, and it's getting worse as he's getting older. So yeah, like it's his way, his opinion, and that's it. And squirrel, and that's what you get. So
Well, so not to dive too deep, and we can end up cutting this out if this is not productive at all. But the way they are, they'll sit there and they'll read. My mom will do crossword puzzle.
Yeah.
And about every 15th question, she'll ask me,
What's
like,
the
"Hey,
answer?
can you help me out on this?"
Right.
She'll even text me. Like,
Oh, that's
we're not
great.
even in the same house. She asked me a Trace Atkins question over the weekend, and after I got home, but like my dad will just read a book, and like he gets kind of like almost quasi pissed off if you want to turn the television on.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I'm like, why do you have a television?
Right. Yeah. Like that's.
They're
the
like,
point.
if
Yeah.
you're going to sit here and read, because I've already had this conversation with them a couple different times. I'm like, if all y'all are going to do is do crossword puzzles and read,
Yeah. I'm out.
I'm going home.
Right.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Because y'all can do that without me.
Right. Yeah. And it's not like, my parents literally, now that we moved, my parents literally live a half mile away from the house. So, which you got to you have to schedule time, effort, and book time to go see your parents that are, what, about a 2-hour drive now?
No, it's 300 miles.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So that's.
It took me 6 hours to get home for Christmas.
That's. Oh, yeah. You ran into that accident or something.
Oh, there was
didn't
all
you?
kinds of stuff.
Yeah. All right, so Sherwin is up here until Sunday. He's going to ring in the new year with Lindsay and I. We're going to have some fun. Sherwin and I, I know you've mentioned this on your show. You worked at a dude ranch up here in Michigan back in the day. How long ago? What part of Michigan was that at?
Yeah, so if you look at, I imagine that a lot of your listeners probably are from Michigan, or at least from this area of the country. So if you think about the old the
mitten
game,
yes.
the
Yep.
mitten game.
Yep.
So if you think about, where your thumb's at is kind of, so we're down over here
Yep.
at the base of your thumb, sort of towards Canada here in Detroit. Where I was at is over here, like at the base of your pinky.
Okay.
And that is it's Rothbury, Michigan.
Yeah.
But the town that anybody might have heard of is Muskegon, which
Yeah.
is
Oh, for sure.
22 miles
Yep.
south
Yep.
of Rothbury. So that's where I was at.
Did you, because you were here a couple of years, and I know they probably worked you pretty hard, but did you ever, while you were here, did you get to, you weren't too far from Traverse City. Did you ever get to go make it up there, or Mackinac, or did you get to see any other places here in Michigan while you were there, or no?
No. Actually, I got gifted an opportunity to play some golf up in Pentwater. And I never did get a chance to do that, but I did. I have seen. George Wendt, his house.
Yes.
On Stony Lake.
Yeah.
I've seen that, which is right near where I was at.
Yeah.
And there was a girl that was interested in me, and so she took me over. But that'll happen sometimes, right?
Right. Yeah.
But no, I didn't really. I didn't really venture out. I mean, the most probably interesting thing that I saw that wasn't in Rothbury was the inside of the Muskegon County Jail.
Wow. That'll happen.
Yeah.
That'll happen. Oh man. Well, I tell you, I know I was going to do it today when I picked you up from the airport. Was going to kind of run you downtown, show you the ballparks and stuff like that, but that was kind of pointless picking you up when it was pitch black outside. So maybe I know we got a few stops scheduled tomorrow. We might have to make downtown one of them just to run you around down there and show you around a little bit and all that good stuff.
Well, I like any of that stuff, especially the old school sporting stuffs.
Show you where the old Tiger Stadium was.
Yeah,
all that good stuff.
That stuff's cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
yep. All right, Sherwin. So you and I were on the phone the other night, and we were talking about some things we were going to do and whatnot. And I said I had a funny story for you, and this is going to lead into a good topic here in a minute. So, Lap Traffic Nation, PETM Posse, Rusty, Sherwin, and I, we love to smoke meat. And Rusty and Sherwin have been doing it a lot longer than I have. And I know Rusty, Sherwin, they like their big green egg. I, myself, have a pellet smoker, and this is the funny story. So, Sherwin and I and Lindsay were actually talking about this before we started, in that I've got the palate of a 5-year-old, and I've been trying to expand on my palate. That was
Lindsay's word.
Yes, I've been trying to expand on that palate, and the other day, I don't know, I got a bug up my ass. I've never had this meat ever. Never had it, but I wanted it. I wanted to smoke a duck. So I went to the new meat market that just opened up that I'm going to take Sherwin to tomorrow, and I go and I buy a duck. And I prep it up based on some of the few people that I've seen in some of my smoker Facebook group things and all that kind of stuff. And it's the Sunday before Christmas. And I go, Zaylen's over. I go to crank up my Green Mountain smoker, and the auger jacked up, would not crank, pellet, wouldn't do a damn thing. And I'm like, I'm losing my mind. I'm not Sherwin dealing with Delta today, losing mine, but I was pretty close, probably, I think, to that level, because I'm like, I've got a turkey to cook in a few days. Sherwin's coming up here. He's going to show me how to redneck proper a pork butt, so I'm like, I'm losing my mind here, because it's 3 days before Christmas, and my smoker doesn't work. So I call up my buddy who owns a barbecue and fireplace store, and he's the one that got me the Green Mountain. He goes, well, since you like smoking and all this kind of stuff, why don't I think it's about time you upgrade. And I said, all right, let's upgrade. And so he gets me hooked up with Sherwin, I went from the Pontiac of smokers to the Cadillac of smokers. And I now have a Traeger Ironwood 885 that they delivered on December 23rd. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, well, wait a minute. This is a fresh damn thing. I need to burn this thing in. Like, I need to get this. I can't have the first thing I put in this be a 20-pound turkey. So I'm literally throwing chicken breasts in this thing. Like, I'm throwing I'm just smoking on this thing for 48 hours straight just to get this damn thing.
Well, yeah, you got to break it in.
Yeah, because like I said, I wasn't having a 20-pound turkey being the first thing that I put in the damn thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, and so I haven't messed with the Traeger. I can't wait to play with it. But, from a green egg or a Kamado Joe perspective, the first thing they tell you to do is you need to put it at 400 degrees for 2 hours to set the seals. Because, it's got, there's glue or whatever that's got to set up. And, so I imagine the Traeger has probably got a similar deal where, you have to set it in. Because, smoking, it's just like a cast iron pan. You got to set it in. Like,
yes.
There's a process to it.
Absolutely. So I say all this because Sherwin, you, me, and Woody Kane were talking about meats and stuff the other day on Twitter. And he likes to smoke some meat too. And I thought it would be pretty cool if you, me, and Woody Kane from MRN shared some smoking stories. So Sherwin, our first surprise guest of the night is Woody Kane.
Wow.
So what do you say we dial up Woody Kane and talk smoking?
Well, yes, please, with sugar on top. I've never spoken with Woody.
Yes. So let's dial up Woody. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining us on the line, making his second appearance on the Lap Traffic podcast. He's the news director for MRN Radio, host of NASCAR Live Pre-Race, NASCAR Today, and the MRN Out Loud Pod, and meat smoker aficionado. Welcome back to the Lap Traffic podcast, Woody Kane. Woody, what's up, man? How are you?
Well, I'm just waiting to get to January 1st so I can say hindsight is 2020 officially.
Woo! Hell yeah! Ain't that the truth, man?
Yeah, God bless America on that.
Woody, man, how was your Christmas, man?
Really good. We just stayed home, of course,
Sure.
like everybody's kind of doing, trying not to spread things around. And it was different, but, you know, my wife and I were talking about it, and this might have been the first Christmas we've actually spent at our home instead of traveling all over the place, making a whirlwind tour to see relatives. So it was kind of different, and it was okay. It was kind of nice.
Yeah, no, that was. I remember back in March, when all this kind of first hit. Obviously we had no idea what was going to happen, but the slow down pace for 45 days did not hurt my feelings at all back in March. It was nice to take a breather, sit down on the TV and watch a TV series with the wife, because she is always on me about that. Will you just sit down for 5 minutes? It's work and podcast. And I'm like, all right, well, now I actually can. So here we go.
Are you sure we're not married to the same woman?
It's a good damn possibility. Oh, she's already on. She's like, this year's going to be year 5 of the podcast. She knows I got some stuff planned. And she goes, it started out with just watching Cup on Sunday, but now we got trucks on Friday and Xfinity on Saturday. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And in the middle of all that, we were going midweek too, right?
Absolutely. Oh, that's funny, man. All right, so speaking of, we're 45 days from Daytona. Woody, it's kind of a cliche question, but, after the wild 2020, I think this question holds a little bit more meaning. What are you most looking forward to with kicking off Daytona in February here?
Well, I don't know that it's necessarily Daytona I'm looking forward to as much as the whole season itself, because, even though we've talked about for a long time schedule changes, we're actually going to see them this year. I mean, six road courses, a dirt track race at Bristol for the Cup cars. Are you kidding me?
Right.
All that new stuff, going back to Nashville, all that new stuff is kind of what's gotten me jacked up. Granted, Daytona is the biggest race of the year, and we're going to be there for 2 straight weeks now instead of heading out to California. But all the new things that are going to be in the schedule, it's like Christmas all over again. I'm just excited to see. I mean, I've always been a guy who's, road courses and short tracks have been where the action has evolved to move to. So I'm anxious to see how that's going to play out, because I love road courses. I know a lot of people don't really, but man, I love them.
I'll tell you, back when I first started getting into NASCAR in the early 2000s, I was not a fan of them. But as the sports evolved, I've evolved, and the level of competition has improved and increased over the last 5-10 years in the road courses. So I love road course racing now. I make a point to make sure, all right, nothing's going on this weekend because it's road course racing. 15 years ago it was give us intermediates. Well, now the fans want something different, and I love that NASCAR's doing that. Sherwin, I know you are stoked about road course racing. Chase Elliott fan, all that good stuff. 7 wins in the bank right there, right, man?
Well, so I'll try to take a step back from this, because I liked road course racing before with Truex and Logano and Keselowski, and they made road course racing a whole lot of fun to watch. And it just it's turned into something that was wildly different than what everybody thought maybe, like you said, 15 years ago, where we all were like, road course racing, I don't know. But now, it's something you need to pay attention to. And, well, I mean, yes, there is a degree of I care a little bit more about it now because my guy is actually really good at it.
Sure.
So, obviously, that makes it more fun.
Even though he keeps trying to tell everybody he's not a road racer. You know what? We'll quit winning then, and we'll believe you.
Right. Right. Well, we'll see how he does in the Daytona, the Rolex 24, now that he's already, he's in that deal now, too. So.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think with this past year in being such an anomaly and an outlier in terms of the changes NASCAR had to make on the fly, I look at it from the fan perspective, being a fan myself, having a fan-based podcast, Sherwin the same way. I had plans on before the podcast, I went to Michigan, and that was it. And 2019 was a great and incredible year for me because I got to 6 different racetracks, and I had planned on doing the same thing this past year, which that obviously didn't happen. So for me, that heightened and intensified like the bucket list, if you will, in terms of, all right, when we can get back going, what's the crucial things that as a fan and a podcaster and a pretend media guy that I need to go and do. Woody, you've been around a lot longer and probably do a few more tracks and stuff like that, but before you got in the biz, what was some of your bucket list things that you wanted to do in the sport?
Oh man, just try and get to all the tracks, and I've done that now. So even though we're adding some new ones this year, like Road America, I'm really excited about that. And if anybody is in that area and gets a chance to go to that race, don't miss it. I got a chance to go the first time I was there. Rusty Wallace took 3 of us around in the pace car, and Rusty talks a mile a minute. So, and he's he's a little salty with his language, let's just say that. And he's telling you how you have to drive these things as your teeth are rattling the fillings out of your head going around there with him, and the tires are squealing and all that. I mean, that was just an experience I'll never forget. So that type of stuff, being to all the tracks, and then, getting to talk to the drivers and have them tell you the nuances of what they do and how they do it is really cool. And that's some of the stuff that I really look forward to doing over the year, working the Daytona 500. I mean, my goodness, one of my first couple of years, I was able to do that. It's just been something that, you don't think about until you're actually there and you go, oh my gosh, I'm working the Daytona 500, that type of thing, that has really stood out to me over the years, and in terms of being able to get to these tracks and see the races in person that you've only seen on TV or listened to on the radio.
Absolutely. I'm with you there 100%. Sherwin, you've been to my 2 bucket lists, which are Martinsville and Bristol, which if I can make happen in 2021, they're happening. What's still on your bucket list?
Bucket list for 2021 is COTA. We're going to Austin. That's just going to happen.
It's fantastic.
I've already made plans to go to Indy for I've already done the 500 with our friend Brett, and but we're going to go to the double there, the Indy and the Cup road course stuff.
Excellent.
If you get to go to COTA and you get media credentials, you will not believe the media center there. It looks like the AMC multiplex theater in your town. It's gigantic and huge screens on the walls. It's not like the traditional media centers that we've seen. It's like a theater. It's
like a sports
unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, really, it is.
I mean,
yeah.
Now that we're on the phone together or on the microphone or whatever you want to call it, I mean, Woody, I might lean on you to help me out there a little bit. I mean, I got some friends over at Bristol and Atlanta Motor Speedway and whatnot, but doing media at COTA would be pretty cool.
That doesn't sound like a bad time. I think I got to work Pocono into the list because Pocono was so gracious to have me kick off their season 4 of their podcast this year. So I think I got to go get out to Pocono. That's probably up there too as places that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, we were all set to do that.
We were all set to go and do
we
that.
were gonna drag. So Woody, we were gonna drag like 25 people to Pocono for the double. And everybody,
we were going to go as fans. I mean, we were going to infield.
We weren't going to mess with media. We're just going to go over there and be fans. And obviously, we didn't get to do that. But Like I seriously think we probably were going to drag at least 25 people
at least
out there
Yep.
to that deal, and it just didn't happen for a lot of the reasons that were out of our control.
All right, Woody. Let's talk a little meat and smoking. And
All right.
I love the fact that we all kind of had some fun on Twitter the other day talking about meat smoking, and that's what sparked. I was like, well, Sherwin's going to be up here. We're going to do some meat smoking. Let's get Woody on.
You guys haven't started already?
Well, so we would have but then Delta had to go screw up Sherwin's flight and all that kind of stuff.
This sounds like the dog ate my homework type deal.
No, this ain't the dog ate the homework. This is the dog talk to somebody and let them know what's up.
Oh, man.
And just made sure that I could still get on the plane without being in deep shit.
Oh boy.
So, Woody, I'm like you. I am a pellet smoker. My smoker that I had, which was a Green Mountain, decided not to work the Sunday before Christmas. And luckily, I have a buddy in the business that I got that one from, and he upgraded me. I now have a new Traeger sitting out there that we burned in for Christmas and all that kind of stuff. Sherwin's a green egg kind of fan.
Nothing says Christmas like lighting something on fire, does it?
Amen.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah, at some point you might have to tell a dynamite story here before it's all done.
What is your smoker grill choice?
Well, I've got 3. I'm a pit boss guy.
Okay.
I've got one of the tailgaters, which we took with us camping. It folds up so you can put it, in a SUV or a pickup truck pretty easily. I've got the Pro Series that comes from Lowe's, and then I just got the Navigator recently. And now my wife is starting to look out at the back porch like, you gonna keep all those?
Yes.
But I love it. I used to be a stick burner when we used to compete. We were always stick burner guys. I had the old R2D2 bullets and then, upgrade to the offsets and that type of thing. But once you start doing the pellet smoker thing, it'll change your life. I'm telling you.
I'm with you.
And the pit boss deal has just been phenomenal for me. I've loved every minute of it. You can, I call it giving it a smoke bath when you put it on the smoke setting. And you give it'll make a really nice, subtle smoke ring, and I love that. Because, smoke is like salt. You can put too much.
Yes.
Yeah, you're 100% right about that. I love that you call it R2D2. We called it a Texas Tower smoker. And we dragged, Rusty had a $40 Texas Tower smoker that we dragged to every racetrack for 10 years. And, I mean, ribs... we did, 8-pound bone-in pork butt. We did turkeys on it. We did everything. And we did
forever on those. Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, we cut our teeth on that. And then, Rusty's dad bought him for Christmas probably about, 5-6 years ago, a green egg. And we played around with that thing for a couple weekends. And I was like, okay, I'm buying one of these. This is ridiculously awesome.
Yeah, I've got some friends that have those too, and they're really, really nice. I like those too. You see guys competing with them sometimes, but some of the people I talked to found that if you drag them around too much, they're so heavy that you run the risk of cracking them. So they're kind of better to park in one spot and leave them alone.
Well, so funny story, and we stopped doing it a few years ago, but a friend of mine just texted me out of the blue and said, hey, I got a guy that's got one of these egg things he's looking to dump because his wife don't want it in his garage anymore. And he's like, what do you think you ought to pay for it? And I said, I don't know, maybe $100. And it was like a Kamado Joe that was built in like the 70s, which meant back when it was actually really like quality. The right. It was right. And, it actually holds temperature better than like a modern day egg does. And we did a ton of barbecue at the racetrack.
Man, once you get them seasoned in, they're great.
Absolutely. Woody, what is, like, you got a rub of choice? You got a favorite rub out there that you like to use?
I like a lot of the Pit Boss ones that you can just buy, but I think one of them that I'm really partial to is Gospel.
Ooh, yes. They have. Do they have the pigs on the label there?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
I like sweet heat type. Any kind of rub that's like sweet and heat that competes well, because sometimes at a lot of the contests when we used to do those, you get sweet wins, sweet scores well, but I like a little bit of a bite to it, a little bit of zip to it,
Sure.
So I like kind of a sweet heat profile in whatever I'm doing. I love that type of flavor.
So let me ask you this, Woody, when you're doing those contests, because we've thought about doing this because it sounds an awful lot like going to a NASCAR weekend, to go to a barbecue competition weekend. When we do barbecue, like especially like ribs, you should pick it up by one of the bones and like all the meat just sort of falls off of it. But when they do a lot of those competitions, they want it to be like chewy, like you got to cut it.
It's not really a chewy. You don't, I mean, everybody's, and you see in all the commercials and stuff like that, fall off the bone. Well, yeah, it tastes good, and for backyard and for your eating pleasure, that might be really good. But to compete, you need to have it stay on the bone, and when you bite, it comes away clean. It doesn't leave a bunch of the meat on the bone. Like you bite it away and it comes away clean. You could take a good bite and it'll show, the curvature of your teeth, that type of thing. You want it to be a good bite that way, not completely fall off the bone, but done enough to where it's that tender, but not to where it falls off the bone.
Okay, so why do you think that? Why is that what? Whatever the TV shows and the competitions, that the way they like it to be. Why do you think that is? Because the reality is, if you peel off a set of ribs and all the bones fall out and stick, to the tinfoil and the meat's just there and you can cut it with a fork, that's better in my perspective. But I'm from the South and we like to cook the hell out of everything.
Well, I mean, I am too. I grew up in Charlotte, man. Come on, I'm in the South. Come on, give me a break here. I mean, it's just, and the more that I've done it, the more I prefer being able to have it cling to the bone a little bit. I want to be able to have that bite. I don't want it to be like, I don't know, like turkey that you can just cut with your fork. I want it to have a little bit of a chew to it. To me, that's a little more appealing, and you can cut that bone off and have that nice bone on your plate that you can have 2 or 3 at a time, that type of thing.
Okay. I'm with you. When I eat ribs, I want to work at it a little bit. Because I can throw
a little, yeah.
I can throw it.
You don't want to fight it,
no,
but you don't want it to come completely off as soon as you touch it.
Exactly. Because, before we got the smoker and stuff, like my wife would throw ribs in like a slow cooker, and you couldn't lift the whole rack of ribs out because it's just falling off. Like, no, that's right. That's too mushy. I want to work at it for a minute. Just a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, just a little bite, and so that when you tug, the bone comes away clean.
Absolutely. Woody, what if someone's going to say, hey, I got a special occasion, Woody, I want your fill in the blank meat because it's that damn good. What's Woody known for on the smoker?
Mine is turkey. I love to do a turkey breast, a bone-in turkey breast. I love to. I got this deal where I'll shove a bunch of apples, cut up apples in the cavity, get up under the skin with your rub, because skin is waterproof. If you put the rub on the outside, it's not going to penetrate and get into the meat. So you got to kind of pull that up like your bed covers at night, and reach up under there with your hands really good and get some olive oil on it and get some of that rub in there and get it to cling, then pull that skin back down. And if you have to, put a couple of toothpicks in to hold it, because you want that fat, you want that, you want that flavor from that, but you don't want it to be just completely exposed where it'll get dried out. But turkey is my go-to. The one that I'm proudest of was actually in 8th place, and that was in brisket, but it was at a big boy contest. Tuffy Stone was the grand champion at that one. This was up in Salisbury at the Harley-Davidson place, and it was on an R2D2 bullet cooker, and we got 8th in a brisket at a big boy contest. And the ones that we won don't hold a candle to that one.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool. I would have to say, like, for me, it's definitely the pork butt. I do a nice one of those, and
they're forgiving. They're much more forgiving.
Sure,
and you can
absolutely.
It'll take about anything you throw at it.
Yes, and then for a few Christmases years back, before the smokers came into play, I used to do a rosemary cranberry stuffed pork loin that everybody loved.
Sounds great.
And I'm like, well, why the hell can't I do this on the smoker? And I've done a few of those on the smoker, and oh, damn. Oh, those things it's so good. Very, very good. So,
and it's not technically barbecue, but at our farmer's market here, there's a fishmonger, and he has fresh oysters from time to time. And I've been playing around trying to do some char grilled oysters lately. And I love doing those. We used to love to go to the oyster pub in Daytona. The hotel we used to stay at was right across the street from it. And I'd go over there and get those every night. I love them. I cannot get enough of them. So I'm trying to get one, get my recipe dialed in for that. And I love the flavor of them. I love that, that sear you get from a little bit of the flame on them.
Sure.
Oh man, that's so good. It's not technically barbecue, but man, I love them.
Well, so I'm glad you brought up the seafood thing, because my wife's wanted me to do some fish in the smoker, and I've been hesitant. Have you done fish or anything like that? Like, have you noticed a residual smell, taste in the next couple things you've smoked from doing seafood in the smoker?
No, not really. I mean, we do a lot of shrimp, but our go-to is steelhead, which is a lot like salmon. It looks the same color, but technically it's a trout. And I do like a coffee rub with that, and I love it. My wife loves that one. That's probably her favorite one that we do on the smoker. And there's all kinds of different pellets. You can get whatever kind of different flavors you want.
Sure. But
man, I love that when you get it to the point where it just flakes a little bit, but it's not mushy inside. Get you a couple of nice little grill marks on there. There's nothing like that, man. Nothing like it. But I don't notice, I tend to kind of burn it off when I get done, and then burn it off again when I start it up the next time. So
Sure.
I don't notice any really residual aromas or flavors in there. To me, it's kind of like seasoning a stoneware pan
Yep.
or cast iron. You don't notice the last thing you cooked in it, even though you don't scrub it down to the metal. When you clean it off, you want that for seasoning, but you don't notice the different flavors, or at least I don't.
Fair enough. Sherwin, you guys had steelhead for Christmas, didn't you?
Yes, we did. We had so Dad grilled steelhead, but we didn't smoke it. We grilled it, and it was good. And he marinates it with it's 1 part Worcestershire and 1 part olive oil, and then there's some brown sugar in there.
Oh, I love brown sugar on mine.
And then he puts onions on it, because onions be doing what they do. But
now, one of the guys that used to work with us had a recipe for smoked salmon that he used to do at our Super Bowl parties. It was really good. But this is basically just straight grilling. I'm not smoking it for a long period of time. I'm cranking that pit boss up and getting it, good and hot. So it's more of a grilling type thing, like you do for a piece of chicken or something after work. And plus, the thing on the pit boss is it's got that slide plate that you can expose the flame and get you a good sear on there.
Oh, that's a very cool feature. That's
I
very
love
cool.
that for like a steak or something.
Absolutely.
Do a reverse sear on a steak. Have you guys done that?
I've done it. I haven't mastered that piece yet, because I don't have that type of feature. So even
just
if I
get it
crank
up to
the grill
the
up,
temperature you want, and then crank that thing and get it as hot as you can and throw it back on there. It'll change your life. It's fantastic. It's so tender you won't believe it.
I am pretty excited about that. Like, I've done burgers. Like, I've thrown burgers on the smoker for like 45 minutes, and then seared them on the grill for 2 minutes. Each side kind of thing, and those have come out pretty good.
Yeah.
They're great.
Smoke. All right, Woody. I can't thank you for being accommodating on the time and all this, and definitely look forward to talking to you in 2021. Let's wrap it with this. Woody, give us your early 2021 headline.
Early 2021 headline. I would say, and this may not be all that big of a surprise, but a surprise winner at the Daytona 500, somebody we don't expect. not your usual suspect, somebody we don't expect.
All right, so Denny Hamlin ain't winning the 500. I love it.
Well, now it'd be completely wrong, and the usual suspect
Right.
will win all the races. Now that I said that, that's the way it works. Like you talk about what a great free throw shooter a guy is, and then he bricks too, right?
Right. Yes, absolutely. All right, Woody, where can everybody follow you at on social media?
So on Twitter is at WYCain, CAIN, and Instagram, Woody Kane. That's it.
Awesome, man. Lap Traffic Nation, huge thanks to Woody Kane from MRN for calling in. Woody, hope you and the family have a safe, happy, healthy new year. Enjoy the last 40-some days here before we get fired back up, and look forward to talking to you soon, man.
All right, you guys too. It'll be here before we know it, right?
Absolutely. Take care, man.
All right, see you later.
Oh, Sherwin, how about that? Woody Kane, that was fun.
Yeah, Woody's a cool dude. I need to touch base with him now that I'm so close.
Hell yeah. I didn't realize, I've seen him post pictures of him smoking and stuff, but I didn't realize he was competition smoker. That's pretty cool.
So we joke about it and we talk about it a lot. Just the whole hobby of smoking meat and whatnot. But Rusty and I really have considered the concept of going and doing competitions.
I think you guys absolutely should.
I think we could. There's a couple of disciplines that I think we could smash at.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. All right, Sherwin, here's the next rundown. I'm going to hit social media real quick. We're going to hit pause and hit the head real quick, get us a refill. And we got two more things to do, one of which involves, and I'm going to leak the surprise, one of which involves a phone call to an inanimate object by the name of the orange cone.
Oh, good. I was hoping that was one of the surprises.
So, all right, real quick, Lapped Traffic Nation, I'm going to throw in a little social media soundbite here. Everybody, make sure you check out the website, thelappedtrafficpodcast.com, Facebook, The Lap Traffic Podcast, YouTube, The Lap Traffic Podcast, Instagram and Twitter, @LapTrafficPC. And it's almost the same for the PETM podcast. It's at PETM podcast on just about all of their stuff as well. I am so excited to get back into a full social media segment with season 5. There's going to be some stuff happening with season 5 of the Lap Traffic podcast. Make sure you're following on Twitter. The season 5 fantasy league information is just a couple weeks away. So start rolling and getting your friends together to come play. There's hardware on the line. There's personalized trophies, prizes, and most importantly, bragging rights and a good time on social media. If you guys want free stickers and koozies, I've got that for you. Just hit up the website and all that good stuff. So without further ado, Sherwin and I are going to hit the pause button for however long we want, and we'll come back here in just a second, but you guys won't know the difference. All right, and we're back, and that took all of a half a second as far as you guys were concerned. All right, so we are trying to get a hold of the orange cone. In the meantime, you guys, I put it out there to leave us some messages, and we'll have some fun with that. So while we're waiting for Cone, Sherwin, let's get our first call on the Wave Around hotline.
It's Matt at Camper News. And I want to wish you guys, of course, happy holidays and most of all, happy New Year to both of you. And, hopefully 2021, better things are to come, and hopefully we'll get back to the races next coming up in the 2021 season. And just can't believe I'm saying it's just a little under a month and a half from now. But anyway, couple of things I wanted to bring up to you guys. First of all, would love to hear both of your reaction. And I know, Brandy, I don't think you've talked about this as this news came out after the award show. But what is your reaction to the race at Auto Club being moved to the Daytona Road Course? And most importantly, how will that impact the drivers, especially since the Daytona Road Course will be the race for the Clash at the beginning of the season before the 500? And will that be, you think, a basically practice session for the drivers to get used to the road course and be ready for that race a couple of weeks later, right after the 500. And in regards to the 2021 season, I want to give my take on the 2021 season. This is going to be, I believe, one of the wildest seasons in the Cup Series I've seen, especially since we're going to be going to the most road course we've ever gone to in the history of the Cup Series. I'm really excited about that, but most of all, I think the champ, of course, the defending champion, Chase Elliott, he, I believe, is going to have consistency at these races for the road courses. And I wouldn't be surprised if he has 2 or 3 wins at the road course, especially if he has 4 straight road course wins going back to Watkins Glen in 2019. So I believe Chase is going to be very consistent at road course, and it's going to be one of the wildest seasons I've seen in a long time for NASCAR. So anyway, enjoy your holidays, Brandon, Sherwin, and Laugh Traffic Nation, and I'll talk to you once again once we get to...
Oh, all right, Matt, we will get to your comments here, but right now we got the Orange Cone calling in, so we'll answer him and we'll get to you. Hold on. Lap Traffic, what's up, Orange Cone? We are hot.
How are you?
Yes, we are hot.
I better keep it PG-13 rated.
Yes.
R-rated, huh? All right.
I think I've already cussed enough to keep us out of PG-13 range.
All right, well,
It's a possibility. Oh, Lap Traffic Nation on the line, making his 14th appearance on the Lap Traffic podcast. He's everyone's favorite inanimate object. It's the Orange Cone. What's up, man? How are you?
I am doing exceedingly well at the moment, you guys. Yeah, it's a great night.
Excellent.
I'm honored to be on with you both.
Happy to have you on. Thank you for accommodating the delay here. We appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, Delta. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah, I have misbehaved quite a bit today.
Yeah, I think Sherwin's probably going to end up on the no-fly list after this weekend.
I was wondering if I was going to get that phone call.
Yeah, I did not exhibit the best of the behaviors, but I did not use any foul language.
I mean, at least not face-to-face. That tweet where you tagged Delta was pretty unmistakable.
Yeah, that one definitely that one had some ditch language in it, didn't it?
It did. Well, hey, I'm glad you made it up to the Great White North, and it's good to be speaking to the host of the 2 shittiest podcasts in NASCAR at the same time.
Yes, sir. I mean,
right.
Oh man,
no better precedent or precipice or superlative to have.
that's true.
That's right. That's right.
Than that moniker.
Yes. Colin, man, how was your Christmas?
It was great. I got a wonderful surprise for this roommate of mine.
Yeah.
I got her a washer and dryer.
Excellent.
She was really surprised.
You don't make her do it by hand?
Well, I mean, we do live in the 21st century now.
Yeah.
But that goes with the new stove that I bought her for her birthday.
Excellent.
So,
all right.
yeah.
Does she know how to use that
I was going to
thing?
say, you can put them Italian skills to the test.
Well, I did have to re-up the fire insurance on this new house after the stove was acquired.
I'm not surprised by
that'll
that.
happen. How is the new house coming along? Projects going good?
Yeah, we're loving it.
Excellent.
We are finishing up our home theater right now. We're going to break that in for the Chili Bowl next week.
Sweet.
We're really looking forward to it. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, once things are back to quote unquote normal, whatever, we'll have to make a trip down south. Come hang out.
Well, we were going to invite you down tomorrow. So, I mean, Sherwin's not going to be here, forever. So,
yeah.
if you guys have an opening in your schedule tomorrow, we'll make you dinner.
Ooh, well, we got some meat and shit on the smoker, but we'll
It'll keep.
We might. We'll see what we can work out.
Let's talk it offline.
Yeah, we can converse. Yes.
I think if you guys were able to make it tomorrow, it would be worth your while.
All right. Well, we'll continue the conversation.
Tell your roommate to invite some. Well, we're just one friend.
Well, her sister lives 4 hours away from here, Sherwin. So that's out.
That's funny. All right, let's. We've kind of full circled on and off racing topics, so we'll start with that. Let's circle that in. For those of you out there that haven't pieced things together, Cone does some stuff with ARCA. So Cone, you guys just did your schedule announcement a couple weeks ago. What are you excited about with that?
Oh man, I'm excited about all of it. From the 20 races in the ARCA Menard series to the East and the West schedules. You know, I've always been a proponent of ARCA, you know, dating back to when I was a kid. You know, I always tell people my first job in life was selling ARCA yearbooks for my boss, my current boss, when I was 10 years old. And it's been a big part of my life ever since. And I am so excited to look at what we've got ahead of us here in 2021. You know, even knowing the challenges that we have as an industry and we have as a country and, you know, all of these things, I'm looking at that schedule and I'm going, wow, this is really, really interesting. We've got some great racetracks. We've got some great combination weekends. We've got some great standalone weekends. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to kicking it off at Daytona. Don't forget, we've got that Monday night race at New Smyrna for the East Series. Then we're going to move over to Daytona and wrap, you know, just wind things up day by day over there, starting with the Busch Clash on the road course. Then you've got Daytona 500 qualifying, the duels, the truck race, Xfinity race, ARCA race, and Daytona 500. Everything happening within a week's time, and it's just going to be fantastic. I'm so excited to get that going, and very excited to be a part of that East and West television package on Track Pass once again. That was a lot of fun last year, and just really looking forward to kind of continuing that on and seeing where that takes me. But it's going to be a very, very fun 2021.
Absolutely.
Well, so how cool is it for you doing what you do now that we have so many of these combination weekends where ARCA is going to get to participate on the same weekend that, you know, the National Touring Series of NASCAR are touring on? I mean, we've got at least 4 that I've seen.
Well, I think we end up having something like 8 or 9 combination races with Cup, with Xfinity, with the National Touring Series. We've even got a weekend with IndyCar out on the West Series at Portland. You know, we've got the East Series with Dover, with the Cup Series at Dover. I mean, all of them are going to have this great mix, and that has been a part of the ARCA platform since 1964 when we first went down and raced at Daytona. So it's always been a very big part of what we do. We are, have always been that kind of that launching step for those drivers who want to be professionals, kind of taking that leap from grassroots racing to professional racing. And, to be able to compete the day before the Daytona 500 is going to be, something special for all of these drivers. And I got to tell you something that's going to be special for me. I've never been to the Daytona 500, as a spectator. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity to possibly do that. And hey, if I can't, I've got a great 85-inch TV downstairs in the basement waiting for me to come home and watch on. So I win either way,
Hell yeah. Colin, I got to tell you, one of the things that I absolutely love, and I think this is something that probably why, you, me, Sherwin, Rusty, who's not here, but we've all developed a really good relationship over the last few years. And as much as we're a part of the sport, but we're not from the podcast amateur side of things, is you, as long as you've been a part of this sport in whatever fashion it is, you are still a diehard fan of the sport, and you just get to wake up and get a paycheck doing what you love to do. But I love the fact of how, like you talking about that, I felt your passion, and I absolutely love that about you.
Well, I appreciate that, Brandon. So one of the things that I really professionally believe is if you are going to represent a brand, if you're going to be a corporate spokesperson, such as I am with ARCA, you have to really like it.
Sure.
You have to believe in it.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody believes in what we do, much more than me. I mean, obviously, my boss, Ron Drager, it's been his family founded ARCA back in 1953. There are people in that building who have worked there since the 1980s, who worked there with my grandparents back in the 70s. It's all of us are. This is a part of our lives, and all too often I think you see somebody who gets involved, whether it's on television or on radio or in a spokesperson role somewhere behind the scenes. They're saying all the right things, but you don't hear that true connection. They probably would rather be off doing a football game or something else, rather than broadcasting that race. Well, I want to be talking about race cars.
Sure.
That's what I do. And I want to be talking about these race cars in particular. So I appreciate you saying that, Brandon. That means a lot. And, that's, I really do want the people that I work with, whether it's at the racetrack or the people that I'm talking to on television, I want them to feel that same level of excitement that I feel.
Absolutely. No, and it's there for sure. Colin, one of the things that I know we've talked about, over the last year or two has been the field size in ARCA, and I know it's early, but can you talk to that at all, or are we going to look to maybe see a little bit bigger fields in 2021?
Man, I wish I could give you some really great news. The answer that I have right now is I just don't know. We've got our tests coming up at Daytona. I think we'll have a fairly respectable field at Daytona. We'll probably be okay at Phoenix. When we get to those standalone races, I mean, let's not forget, regardless of what your political beliefs are or whether or not you think you should be wearing a mask or not, the country has gone through a tremendous economic downturn.
Sure.
And while it might not reflect within the budgets of a Cup team or an IndyCar team, the folks that build and maintain these ARCA cars are very blue collar. They're working class people, and it absolutely does impact them. So if any racing series is going to be directly impacted by a negative downturn in the economy, it's going to be ARCA. That said, I know we are very, very hard at work on some regulations with Gen 5 chassis that would make them a lot more compatible to what it is we do. There's going to be a lot of those chassis available here in the next year or two. So, look, we understand where we're at. We know why we are where we're at, and we're doing everything we can to rectify that. Let's not forget, when the Gen 4 cars were being phased out for those Gen 5 cars, the old COT chassis, we really benefited. We had, 50, 60, 70 car entry lists some weeks.
That's crazy.
Because you could buy a used chassis because you couldn't use them anywhere anymore.
Right.
You could buy those used chassis for so cheap, and we're trying to give people that same opportunity now that those cars are going to be so readily available. So, I hate to say stay tuned, but I think we're going to have some relief on this somewhere down the road. Look, we know. I mean, we went to a few of these races, whether it was that race at I-44 Speedway where I think we had 14 cars. Hey, no one. It was more aware of that than we were.
Sure.
I mean, everybody who's making those comments on social media thinks, hey, we're calling them out. No. We know.
Yeah.
We get it. This is how we make our living, and this is not good for anybody. But we know here's why we are where we're at. And so much of that at this point it isn't because of our rule book. It really, literally is because of where the economy is, and we're trying to do things to make it a little more feasible for folks who want to come and race to come race.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you, I have hopes, as I know we all do, that 2021, over time, obviously, tomorrow's New Year's Eve. Obviously, we're not going to snap our fingers and things are going to be back to normal, but hopefully we can slowly start to see a gradual improvement here at the racetracks and all that good stuff. So,
I think we will. I think what we need to do is stay patient. Look, I know we're going to go down to Daytona, and Daytona has already announced some changes to the grandstand procedures and limitations on ticket holders, and that sucks. No one wants to do that, but no. I think we need to get through that first 6 months of 2021 and let the world kind of start to come back to normal. Yeah. And we get through we made it through 2020, which by all accounts is just the absolute worst year we've all ever had collectively. Right.
Yeah.
We made it.
Yeah,
we made it.
We did.
We're all still here.
Yes. Unless we hear some weird rumble in the sky tomorrow at 11:59, right. What is that? That Mortal Kombat round 2.
Right. And I don't say that to be insensitive. I understand that that we've lost 350,000 people.
Yeah.
And whatever. It's a tremendous tragedy for every family who's lost somebody. But those of us who are still here, we've made it. We made it through, whether it was the COVID situation or the political situation or the economic situation or whatever. Just collectively, this was a terrible year, and we're still here.
Yes.
And it's gonna get better in 2021, and it's gonna get better in 2022. And all we got to do is keep taking that next step, and we're gonna do it, man. ARCA is we've been here since 1953. We are not going away. We're not going anywhere anytime soon. NASCAR didn't buy us to shut us down. We're here to play an integral role in an important role, and we're going to continue that history on. And I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully, we can get you back to the track at Michigan, and we can do this show in person like we've done so many times. And I can make it back down to Charlotte and hang out with Sherwin and eat again on the shores of Lake Norman. That was one of the absolute highlights of my year, was catching a meal with Sherwin and some of our friends down there. That was great. Hopefully we'll be able to do a lot more of that, and I know this crazy Italian lady wants to be a part of some of that next year too.
Absolutely.
Well, I told Kelly and Chris that don't be surprised if I accidentally invite myself over to their place just to hang out with actual human beings.
Right.
Absolutely. Cone, the last couple of years, and I got to tell you, I've been very grateful and thankful for all the people you've gotten me in contact with over the years. And every year you get me hooked up with a couple drivers in the ARCA series. And a couple weeks ago, had Brett Holmes, probably a month and a half or so ago, Brett Holmes on, fresh off his ARCA Series championship. And I got to tell you, and I say this because I know, to just kind of piggyback off what I said earlier in terms of your passion, I know you take pride in who comes up through the ARCA Series. And that's, man, what a stand-up guy Brett was.
Oh, what a fine young man he is, right?
Yes.
You will not meet a nicer young kid than Brett Holmes. He just a great guy, got a great temperament, a great outlook on life. His dad's a fantastic guy as well. And man, I sit and look at these, the starting lineup for a cup race, and I'm like, well, I worked with him and worked with him and worked with him and worked with her and worked with him, and it's fantastic. I mean, I was there when Alex Bowman, won his first couple of races. Was there when Chase Elliott came and raced with us at New Jersey Motorsports Park and had a phenomenal race, just phenomenal. First time on a road course, and almost won. Climbed out of the car and just was so exhausted he threw up everywhere. And he's like 15 years old. And I remember he was actually physically ill while the press conference was going on, the post-race press conference, and he was actually got in trouble for not attending that media briefing. And he comes to me afterwards. He's like, "Oh man, you got to go tell those guys I didn't skip it. I was throwing up." I was like, "Chase, don't worry about it. I'll go let them know." I didn't even work for ARCA at that point, and I went and told those guys, and I think I got him off the hook for that one. But that's my. Just those moments like that, with guys like Eric Jones. I remember helping him push his car out to the grid at Berlin when he was 15 years old, and he went on to win a race there. I mean, that was just fantastic memories and fantastic moments, and I do take a lot of pride in seeing all of these kids come through here and go on to bigger and better things in the Cup Series and the success they've had there.
Absolutely. Sherwin, you got anything else for Cone there, man?
No, I really don't. I mean, well, the thing I appreciate the most is the sorry for the laughter. The shittiest podcast on the internet.
Right, man.
That to
Since
me,
Eldora.
it's beyond hilarious for all of the right reasons, and I appreciate that because I think it comes from your heart, knowing that you don't really mean it on the surface level the way you say it.
Well, I got to tell you, I have such fond memories of that day, having my kids there, having Nascar Chasm there, and his wonderful wife Jeannie, and so just we had so many of our little internet Twitter circle of friends there, and to come and spend that time with you guys in that camper and do that show, and what a great day that was, and
Absolutely.
Yeah, it just part of why we all do this is to create these types of moments and these kinds of memories. And I always tell people, I'm just some smartass who sat on his couch watching races and decided to start a Twitter account to make wise ass comments, and it has created the opportunity to do some really cool things, and I've met a lot of really cool people, including one who's sitting right next to me on the bed right now as we're doing this. I wouldn't know you guys. I wouldn't know her. I wouldn't have the job that I have now if not for that social media presence. And, I do. I appreciate the friendship, you guys, and appreciate the opportunity to come on here and talk race cars with you as often as I've been able to do it. And, all of the laughs that we've had, whether it's been on the air or not, we've shared a lot of laughs, guys. And I remember when Ashley and I first got together, one of the first people we called was Brandon, and he just couldn't believe it.
I had lost my ever-loving mind.
Yeah, he just couldn't believe it. And just making people laugh is just, she's a comedian just like I am. She takes a lot of pride in making people laugh. And I got to tell you, Sherwin, that moment with you and Rusty when we took you to the Urban Dictionary was probably the funniest moment of our lives.
Oh man!
Well, so
we don't even need to say what it was at this point.
No, no, we don't.
It was just classic, and those are the things that we really like to do. We like to talk about racing, but man, we like to make people laugh, and that's what this is all about. So I appreciate the opportunity to come on here and have fun with you guys.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't want to pretend like maybe I'm omniscient or whatever, but it didn't shock me 1 second when you told me that you and Ashley were, having relations or whatever it is y'all are doing.
Yeah.
It didn't surprise me at all.
We hold hands and talk about our feelings, Sherwin.
Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like I knew something was up, and then you were like, "Yeah, something's up," and I'm like, "Yeah, I get it. It makes it makes sense."
I think the only person who didn't know something was up was me for a while.
Well, that'll happen because dudes are dumb by nature.
Yep.
Right.
Well, Colin, you've told me on numerous occasions I've outkicked my coverage. So,
yeah. Speaking of which, how is old Lynn's doing, man?
Old Lynn's is good. And you want to know the real funny thing is that in our new house, our neighbor across the street is Gary. So I just call him Old Gare. I'm like, Old Gare. He doesn't even know why I call him Old Gare.
Yeah, keep an eye on that bastard, man.
It's like,
I didn't know about this.
Yeah, we got a new neighbor. His name's Gary. I'm like, yep.
So when I see him, like, sometime this weekend, I'm going to call him that and he'll be like, who is this redneck calling me Old
Hey, do you have a
Gare?
boat?
And
Do you have a boat?
I'm like,
No,
you don't even
we
know.
are nowhere near the water.
Yeah, you don't even know why this is funny.
Yeah, keep her away from that boat, man.
Yep. Oh man, I love it.
Hey, that's all right. Ashley actually accidentally went on a few dates with a guy once.
Yeah. Playing golf, right? Didn't know it.
Yeah, the golf pro.
I remember that story. Yes.
Yeah, she accidentally dated a golf pro for about a month.
Yep, didn't know it. I love it.
Whoops.
She was married. And he was like, "Oh, you got a beautiful golf swing. Let's give you some lessons."
Put her on the phone.
Between swings, he would come over and rub her shoulders, and she'd be like, "What? That's weird."
If Woody Kane listens to this podcast,
"Hey, let's go have dinner and talk about your swing," and she's like, "Okay."
All right, no, put Ashley on the phone.
She's right here.
Yeah, put her on the phone.
Yes, hello.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey,
it's Ashley's debut on the Lap Traffic Podcast. We're officially in the ditch at 116.
all right.
It's gonna go in the ditch real quick right now. I can tell.
Yeah. Well, let's quit the bullshit. All right. Tell us what's up. Tell us what's up. I mean,
Tell you what's up.
Yeah. What's up with Ashley?
What's up? Oh, I thought you were going to ask me if that was a true story. That was a true story. Yeah, that was. But with Ashley, I don't know. I'm just, I'm leading a real quiet life right now. It's real quiet. I do so much cooking and cleaning, I'm sweating all the time, just trying to keep up. Just trying to keep up on the house.
No, so Ashley, I want you to dive deep into that Chicago accent.
Right.
Just dive deep down in there and let's get that Italian Chicago.
Let me hear it.
Sebastian Maniscalco. Let's hear it.
Let's get that Gino's East Pizza Italian accent going.
Charlie's favorite one is when I yell at him and I'm like, Charlie.
You got that? Yeah, you got that.
Charlie.
Yeah, I never pay attention to it. Right. Yeah, she's about to she's gonna hop back on the old spin bike tomorrow. Last time she was on one, she fell off.
I was thrown off.
No, she fell off.
I saw the picture of that.
No, hold the F on. You either fell off of it or you got bucked off of it. Which one was it?
Well, it's hard to get bucked off of a stationary object.
All right, I'm gonna tell the shortest version of the story.
She fell off a spin bike.
I didn't. So I went to a class and I was like, you know what?
All right, this is already too long.
You went to a class to learn how to ride a stationary bike.
I went to a spin class. Listen, I went to a spin class and I decided that I didn't want to take the beginner class because, how easy is that?
Seriously.
And I went to an intermediate class. I'm telling you.
This is like the most torturous story.
I tell you this all the time.
I know. I've already heard this.
You're just going to make it longer if you don't be quiet. Okay. I told you, you should know this by now. Anyway, long story short, yada, yada, yada. Yada, yada, yada. It was much more intense than I had anticipated. And my foot got loose in the spin, in the whatever, in the bike.
And she got bucked off.
And it flung around and hit me in the back of the heel and flung me off the bike. which was not fun. But I got right back up again.
You're hurting me. Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
So as embarrassing as that story is, that is not even the most embarrassing thing that has happened to her this week. So guys, listen. Are you guys familiar with the show Glow on Netflix about the gorgeous ladies of wrestling?
Yes, because I'm a big wrestling fan. So
right.
yes,
so we're watching the show last night.
Oh my God.
And I hear some sniffles on the other side of the bed. And I look over to her and I said, Are you crying at the show?
Oh my gosh.
She started crying watching a show about female professional wrestlers.
Let me just tell you something.
Disgusting.
It's a story of triumph.
It was not.
It is a story of triumph, and everybody likes a story of triumph. And Kelly Crandall would understand.
She started crying.
Yeah, Kelly would.
Yes.
You're right.
Well, and listen, I have been a wrestling fan since 10 years old. I still go to WWE shows when we were permitted to go to shows. So I am all in on the Glow. I'm a season behind, but
you don't start crying when you're watching it.
There have been 2 instances where I have cried.
All right, Brandon.
Yes.
I'm going to help you out right now. Stop. Talking.
So all right. So for Ashley's sake, I watched Devil Wears Prada for the first time.
Oh, yes.
Over
crying,
Christmas with my mother wanted to watch it, and I was like, I ain't seen this because I thought it was
stupid.
Well, no, I didn't think it was stupid. I thought it was like really dark because of the title.
Oh, it's a devil, right?
Because I didn't know what it was.
Oh, now you do.
And then, I laughed my ass off for the first, 45 minutes or 50 minutes of it. And then I did sniffle a little bit towards the end.
Well, we watched a Bill Burr special the other day that we laughed pretty hard at.
Really, he is hilarious. He is.
You know what I like when I go on a date with a woman and she just tells me right up front.
Okay, you can't redo the.
Well, let's see.
Like I went on my first date with Ashley and I was like, hey, like we're here to play golf. What do you want to do?
All right, seriously.
I told you for joining the
I am coming down to play golf this summer.
Let's do it, man. Seriously, let's do it. And if you guys have an opening in your schedule tomorrow, it's just she and I at the old homestead tomorrow. We would love to have you down.
Well, if it's just, we've got a couple things with some neighbors coming over tomorrow. So why don't you come on up here?
Well, we can't.
It's not. Hold on. I want to just say this really quick. It's not a trick. We're not going to do anything that. Right. It's not a trick or anything. Okay?
Right. We're not going to decapitate you or anything.
Yeah. I will tell you. I'll make some snacks. We can fire up the grill.
She's going to make some Chicago.
Well, here's the thing. We got a lot of. We got a program that we already
some stuff, and we got some neighbors coming over that are already on the books.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to come up here,
we
got king crab leg and some steaks. You're more than welcome to come on up. We got plenty of sleeping space.
Do you have any portobello mushrooms?
We do have portobello mushrooms.
We can do that too.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. You are more than welcome. And then on New Year's Day, I make an Italian style breaded chip steak with a homemade basil sauce. So.
Ooh, Italian style.
Yes, so you're more than welcome. But I want to go back to the golf side for a minute because I played, and I'm not trying to brag here, but I'm going to brag for a minute.
Is this a racing podcast? Do we have to talk about Brandon's golf game?
Shut up, Ashley.
I played. I had the best at 37 years old. I had the best year of golf of my life this past year. Like I played some of the best golf ever.
If you're gonna yell,
some of the best golf ever.
You just said you're 37?
I turned 38 last week, so
All right.
Yes, it took 37 years to dial in the golf game, and it's
All right,
dialed
you
in.
and Are the same age. All right.
Yeah, happy birthday. I wasn't
you.
expecting that. I feel like I knew that, but I just didn't really believe it.
She thought you were at least 52.
Yeah, I wouldn't believe it.
Hey.
Pizza Man's outing to fix you.
Oh, get the fuck in here.
Oh, Jesus, we are.
I think I just heard the F word on a
We are-
family-friendly
We are
podcast.
deep
man.
into it here now. But yeah, no, I mean, I picked up an eagle this year. I broke 90
You picked up
twice.
an eagle, huh? I had an eagle. The second round I played this year, I hit an eagle, and it was the most incredible feeling. And then
Was it a putt or was it a hole out?
no, I hit. It was a par 5.
Okay.
And I hit the green in 2,
Okay.
and then I tapped it in. I tapped it in for eagle.
Nice.
And it was incredible. That was like the highlight of my year until I started playing with my 12-year-old son, and he birdied. He got a birdie like the third time he ever played.
Nice.
Yeah. So watching, I get the whole Tiger Woods, Charlie Woods thing.
I actually have a legit question.
All right, hold
Yes.
on.
Brandon.
Yes.
I would like to know, do you also, as Charlie does, have the orange coat?
I
Thanks a
think
lot.
that's been broke about 6 times. I just wasn't going to say anything.
Do you, wait, this is
Fourth wall is
You-
way broken at this point.
and he does also have a better game miraculously when you go alone and no one's there.
Right. I played by myself the other day. Like I played with myself the other day and shot 80.
Right.
I have only,
I'll say this. Actually, the best game I ever shot, I did play alone, and I didn't cheat, and I did shoot an 87, and that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, you know what?
I've
I
only
do
gone by myself
I do
twice.
backflips when no one's around all the time, but
Yeah.
I swear to God, I can do it.
Right.
I've only gone by myself twice, and when I do, I'm shooting 3 or 4 balls at a time just to practice.
I have such a great joke to say right now, and I can't because this is a
it can't
family
be
show.
any worse than what we've broken
you
at this point in
can
time.
tell the joke.
Yeah, all of the men in Ashley's life shoot better when they're by themselves. That's all I can say.
Oh my goodness! I don't know. I mean, she's got 3 kids,
Oh, I
right?
went there.
Sounds like. I mean, what? Where
That's
are we
really
at?
fun.
Brandon's
You know what?
over there
I gotta tell you.
clicking on stuff.
I just threw in a rim shot there.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you. I mean, it's been a while. I'm speechless. I'm speechless.
What are you going to do about it?
You know what? If I wasn't so proud that was such a good joke, I would
That
actually.
was really good.
What are you going to do about it?
Oh,
That was
man.
a good one.
All right. Sherwin and I still have about 15 minutes still of phone calls to go listen to from people that are so awesome and left us stuff, and then we need to go tie one on. So
Let's bring this back to racing for a moment.
Yes.
Hey, I know 2020 was kind of rough. But hey, we got Chili Bowl coming up here in about 10 days. The Tulsa Shootout going on right now. I think, like I said, let's just try to stay positive and get through this first part of 2020 or 2021. And I think we're gonna get back to full crowds at the racetracks before too long. I'm looking forward to it, and I really look forward to the opportunity to see you guys at the racetrack very, very soon.
You absolutely know it. Orange Cone, Ashley, thank you so much for calling in, having some fun with us tonight. Hope you crazy kids have a great and safe, healthy new year. And like you said, looking forward to seeing you guys for sure at the track in 2021.
You got it. I'm going to go get the couch ready because I think I'm sleeping downstairs today.
All right, man. We'll catch you guys later.
All right.
See ya.
See ya.
All right, Lap Traffic Nation. We did the voicemails, and the computer died. Thankfully, the phone calls and all that got saved. So Gina Loves JJ48, thank you so much for your voicemail. Andrew Cancian, thank you so much for your voicemail. We're going to leave it with that. Lap Traffic Nation, PETM Posse, that is going to do it for episode 215 of the Lap Traffic Podcast. Make sure you check out the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com. Like on Facebook, The Lap Traffic Podcast. Follow on Twitter and Instagram at Lab Traffic PC. Go follow PETM Podcast at PETM Podcast. Huge thanks to Woody Kane and the Orange Cone for having some fun with us. Sherwin, I'm so excited you're here. Cheers to the PETM posse. Rusty, get your ass up here next time. Cheers to the Lab Traffic Nation. Hope you all have a safe, healthy, happy New Year. Don't get caught chasing the lucky dog. Make sure you tune in each and every week to the Lap Traffic Podcast. We're out of here. See ya.
See ya. Skew. Hey, don't drive. All right.